So welcome everybody. So this is the second session. So we're taking off from nested if-else conditions. So think of nested if-else conditions as having if-else conditions inside another if-else condition. So the syntax is here. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes.
And can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So now this is the syntax. If condition.
Yes.
Thank you. If condition, do something. So if condition, do something, then if another condition, do another thing, else, do yet another thing. Then we have the else here, do yet another thing. So let me quickly do a breakdown of this. So Python, conditionals in Python, they are actually written in code blocks. So indentation is very important. So what do I mean by indentation? So check this if condition. I marked it off with a full column and drop into a new line. So the new line starts, the new line, which is a block of that if condition, starts with an indentation, and that indentation is maintained. So what this means is all the codes that have the same indentation under this if condition will be executed under this if condition. So as soon as it gets here, so you see that there is a breakout from the block into the else. So this else kicks in, and this else condition starts to execute. So, and it executes everything that is within this indentation. If you make a mistake of misaligning your indentation, you're going to get an error returned. So let's take note of that. Okay, so this is an example. Forget how clustered the code is looking. Yes, most of it is just print, print, print. Okay, so I added a little bit of, sorry. So I added a little bit of time into it. You can, if you don't understand how it works, the timing, the time part of the code, you can simply ignore it. It's not really important, it's just for fancy. Okay, so the same code we have executed before, welcoming our guests. But here we're extending the functions. So here now, let's even see how it works to start. So it requests, please provide your name to verify who you are. So let me provide the correct name first. Andrew. You're welcome, Andrew. I've been expecting you. I'm happy to have you here. Just a fun fact about your name. Your name begins with A and ends with a W. Would you like another fun fact? Yes or no? Y or N? So I say yes. It took you exactly 22 seconds. Add that. It took you exactly 22. Yeah, just assume there's seconds here. I've added it now. Once I rerun it, it's going to show up. So it took exactly 22 seconds to make up your mind, Andrew. So this is just a little bit of fun fact. It's not as if it's doing anything, but you may actually need it. Assume you're setting a quiz and you want to know how quickly the respondents are responding to each question. You could implement something like this. As soon as the new quiz shows up, you time the start of it and you time the end of it. So now this is what happens here. The same thing that happens in the previous part. So we get the name of the guest. We'll compare it with the name of the guest we're expecting, and it prints some things here. then does a number of things, then goes to an if block. So this if here is nested. This if else is nested inside the main if else that is here. So this is the main block, this if here, and this else here. So those are the two, they are the main if else block. So the ones here, my network is bad. So the ones here, if else here, this is the nested if inside. How is it now? How is it now, please? Can everybody see my screen, please? And can you hear me as well?
The network is very bad. It's breaking.
Okay. So just let me know as soon as you're able to see it clearly and you can see and you can hear me clearly as well. So I can continue. How is it now?
And we can't like
Still bad?
I hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now. Very good. So we move ahead. Okay, so I was explaining this. So now this if here is a nested if inside the main if block. So it just does another thing. It checks whether this person has responded with Y or N here. Would you like another fun fact? So if it is Y, it checks that the person has entered Y and it prints this statement. Else, it does something else. So what it means here is if you enter anything other than Y, it's still going to run this else statement. Because the only time it's going to run this if statement is when the another variable here is set to Y. Okay, so let us build a simple password validator. So I store my password. So you remember when you set password, it gets stored somewhere. Most times in real situations, it gets either stored on the server if you're working online, or probably if it's on your local system. I'm sure there is an encrypted way it gets stored. So now this pass attempt takes an input of somebody who is trying to log into your system. Please enter your password to log in below. So once you type the password, the code tries to compare the password that has been stored with the password attempt that has been entered and print successful if it matches. If it doesn't match, it prints this statement. Let's see. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I'm running this code again. I've interrupted it. Okay, so I run this and it asks me for the password. So I assume I don't know the password and I enter A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah. You have entered the wrong password. So let's assume I know the correct password. A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Successful. So now let's discuss and, or, and not operators. So Python allows you to use multiple conditions in the same if block or in the same if statement by either combining the multiple conditions with and or by combining it with or. And the not operator, I think it should be obvious. It's just to negate whatever you have gotten. So you don't really, I don't have an example implement. Okay. Oh, I actually forgot to add the examples I wanted to add here. Oh yeah, I added it, yes. So here, this is an implementation of and. So suppose we want to get some male students who are over 15 years old. So in this example, we have two conditions. The person has to be a male student and the person has to be over 15 years old. So I set, assume we're taking the age and the sex here. And in this block, in this if block, we're checking whether the person is truly a male student and is truly over 15 years old. So let's run this and see. So you are selected. As you can clearly see, the person's age is 16, over 15 years, and the person is male, which satisfies this condition. So the two conditions must be satisfied. So let's see a situation where one of the conditions is not satisfied. You are not selected, is printed out. So the two conditions have to be satisfied. Let's see the other. So let's assume it's female. You're not selected again. Okay, so let's go forward. Now, the above code can be written as the way we have it here. If mean age is greater than 15, that one condition has been met. It goes into the if block. Then it checks the second condition. If sex is male, once that condition gets satisfied, it prints you are selected. As soon as this first condition is not satisfied, it breaks to this else statement. Okay, so let's see it in action. You are selected. I'm going to add a little bit of modification here because in this example here, as it is, if I were to change this to female, nothing is going to get printed out. You can see that. So I was supposed to add an else condition here that will also print you are not selected. So, and that is it, you are not selected. Excuse me. So let me quickly implement an or example and a not example. I forgot to add them in the code. So let's copy the code block, the code we have here, and just modify it to, oh no, not this. Okay, so instead, we only want a student that meets one of these two conditions. So assuming the problem states that select a student that is either a male or over 15 years old. So this is the problem we have at hand. So I'll simply substitute the and with an or here. So what happens here is it checks, is this person over 15 years old? If that is true, it's enough to run the block. It does not bother checking the other side because it is an or condition. Only one of the two conditions needs to be satisfied. Moreover, you're not limited by the number of ors you can have. You can also have another or checking maybe if it's a student of the school. Assume the school is best brain, and we have it here. Best school, sorry. Brain. Although it wouldn't make much sense here, so I'm going to move it out because we can't say we are selecting somebody just because, yeah, it's still possible. It's still possible. As if we want to select a student that is either 16 years old, or is a male student, or is from best brain. If any of these three conditions is met, is enough to select the student. So do it this way, and we run it. Once one of the conditions is met, you're going to get this. So even if I were to change this to best not brain and change this to male, female, it's still going to give me you are selected. So the only reason why it will tell me I'm not selected is if these three conditions are not met. So let me create a situation where these three conditions are not met. And there you go, you are not selected. So like I said, feel free to play with the code. If you play with it, that's when you understand how the sequence of execution of the code, how the syntax actually works. Then essentially try to type the code yourself. So you can scroll up, create new cell, create new code cell, scroll up and ensure you cannot see the example I have executed or I've typed in. So try to run it yourself. Try to type it out. So if something else, so try to do it and see whether you do it successfully. Most likely, the first time you try most codes, you won't get it correctly, except few. The first time you try, except you have extensively studied the code. So the first time you try to type it yourself, you realize that you're struggling to type it correctly, or you're getting an error. It may be just maybe you're omitting a comma, or you're omitting a colon, or you're omitting a bracket or something. Something will be wrong with it the first time you try to type it yourself. So the more you do it, the better you understand how the syntax is written. So think of it as a language. Any language you listen to, no matter how well you listen to the language, if you don't try to type it, if you don't try to speak it rather, then you don't understand the language yet. Yes, you may be able to understand when somebody's speaking it, but try to speak it yourself. That's when you realize how far off you are from being able to speak. Okay, so going forward, okay, so let me implement a not example as well. So I'm using this same code block. So I want somebody who is only less than 15, right? So in this condition that checks minimum age less than 15, greater than 15, I'll simply invert it by saying not minimum age greater than 15. So what happens is it executes this first, minimum age greater than 15, checks. If the minimum age, assuming in this example, the minimum age is 16, right? If the minimum age that is 16, it executes to true because it is truly greater than 15. This not simply flips it and turns it to false. And suddenly, this code is no longer going to give us you are selected. It tells us you are not selected. So let's see it. You are not selected. So this is inverting just min age portion of the code alone. So if I want to invert, so I'm creating a new code block. So if I want to invert the sex instead, assume we want just female and not male. We want female that is greater than 50 years old. So we execute it again. And because this person is male, he gets, you are not selected. So I change this to female and you are selected. So play around with it. Play around with all the conditions, add new things. Imagine, just give yourself the free will of imagination. Try to think of any weird thing, anything you think you can execute or you can implement. Try to implement it. So if it works, I'm sure you'll be happy. If it doesn't work and you think you need help, reach out to me. Post your problem on the classroom stream And I'm very sure one of your colleagues would attempt to answer it. If nobody can answer it, I'll be there to also answer it. Okay, so break, continue, and pass statements. Okay, so break is used to terminate a loop abruptly. We discussed loop yesterday. We discussed for loop that is count based. We discussed for loop that is collection based, that checks the items in a list that's given. Then we also discussed while loop that is condition based. So all these loops, remember, for loop, if it does not execute all the items in the list, it doesn't stop. Assume you want to make it stop at a point. For some reason, you just want to stop the code at a point. So you might want to make use of break to abruptly terminate the loop. Okay, so the syntax is just break. Very simple, break. So the continue statement is used to skip a block of code inside a loop. It's used to skip a block of code inside a loop. So think of it that you're executing a loop and you want, so assume that, okay, you're creating a virtual list range of 1 to 10, but you don't want to print, or you don't want to do anything at the item 5 in that range. You don't want to do anything. So you can now use a condition to check if the variable, the looped variable there, if it is 5, or if the item is 5, continue. Don't execute. Continue. Just go outside and continue from the next item in the list. So that is what this continue statement does. So it is used to skip the execution of a loop to the next. So it does not end it like break does. I think break is quite intuitive. Break, you're breaking the code and terminating it. Continue to the next one. That's what continue does. So the last one we're looking at here is pass. So think of pass as not doing anything. Yes, it's just used to say don't do anything. So the typical use case of it is maybe you want to write a loop and you don't want the loop to do anything. It might sound weird, or if for some reason you just want a loop that does not do anything. So you create it and you just simply pass. So let's see an example of break. So here, for I in range 9, remember a virtual list gets created of 0 to 8 in this situation, since it's range 9. So it picks each of it. The moment it is 3, it stops executing it. So let's run it and see. 0, 1, 2. So it stopped executing. In fact, it could not even print this. But okay, let me add a print statement that tells us when it is executing break. Executing break. Or let me say execution broke. Broke here. Okay, so that's it. But if I were to remove this portion of the code that tells it to break, oh, I'm going to get an error. I didn't comment this. Okay, so it actually prints 0 to 8 as expected. But this break prevents it from doing that. It's not needed. Okay, so let's examine a continue example, an example of continue. Okay, so I said continuous keeps executing a particular loop or a particular sequence in the loop. So in this example, once I is 3, it keeps it. So I'm going to add a print statement skipping this. So let's see it. So let's go. It prints 0, 1, 2. Then it prints skipping this loop and it fails to print 3. And simply goes to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is continue in action. So let's see an example of pass. Like I said, pass simply does not do anything. So I implement pass here and my code just runs normally. Let me remove these and executing pass. Something is wrong. Oh, print. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. 0, 1, 2, executing pass in this loop, and it doesn't do anything. It still prints 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's it. So the concluding part of this class is going to be on if-else, elif condition, sorry. So elif condition allows you to specify a condition, an if condition. The if condition executes and goes to else. So, but instead of just executing else, it still wants to execute another if condition in that else. So instead of saying else, then going in to say if again, you just simply say if, checks, executes another condition or another code block rather. Then you can still now have another else if, which is elif, execute another one. Then you can finally have else at the very end and it terminates it. Okay, so let's see it in action here. So in this example, I'm incorporating the break for breaking out of a loop, and I'm also incorporating the, oh, unfortunately, I forgot to add elif. So I'll quickly add elif here. Print this. So I'm trying to, okay, so probably when it executes, I'm going to explain what I'm doing in this portion of the code. Okay, so let me quickly explain it from top to bottom. So here is the same password validator, but I'm now expanding on the functionality. So here it allows you to store a secret question and a secret answer. So, and it also sets password at 10. Then if you remember the previous example, you're only allowed to, like there's no loop. So if you type the wrong password the first time, it simply terminates. So, but we want to allow this person to try the password multiple times, say 5 times, for instance, and after that, you can no longer try it. So now we're going to, that's what I've implemented in this code. So here I've declared secret question, secret answer, password. Then this is where you input your password attempt, the password you think you've used. And this is where I'm keeping tab of the count, number of times I've attempted it. So, and I'm checking, as long as the number of attempts is less than 5, do this. Check that the password you have entered is the same thing as the password you have stored in the computer. If it is, print successful, then break. Successful and break. And your code ends there. But if this is not true, it comes to this else statement. You have entered a wrong password. And after printing that, it now checks if the number of attempts you have made so far is still less than 2. It asks you to input a hint rather. Do you want to use a hint? If you say yes, it now asks you to input your age. How old are you? If you provide your age, it compares it to the age you have previously stored in memory. If the age is correct, it still logs you into the computer and tells you successful. So this gives you an alternative, just in case you forgot your password. It allows you to still log in with your age. And here it breaks the code, terminates it. But if the age you entered is wrong by 1 or 2, so you can see elif in action here. If it is wrong by 1 or 2, it simply prints you are within 1 year of the correct value. So it allows you a second guess. And if it is correct, if your second guess is correct, elif, if it is, okay, yeah, you're within 1 year, and this loop continues, goes back to the start again, and allows you to still enter another password attempt. So I forgot to copy this code to the end. By the time you play around with it, I'm sure you will understand better what is happening. Yes. Okay, so if it tells you you're within 1 year of the correct value, then it takes it back to the start again and allows you to enter your password once again. Then it goes again from the top to bottom, and the same is repeated until you have exceeded the number of attempts you are allowed. So let's run it and see it work. Please enter your password to log in below. Let me enter the correct password, ABC XYZ. Successful. It simply logs me in. No problem, no issue. We're rounding up. I know we're past the scheduled time. So here, let me enter a wrong password, ABC, CBA. You have entered a wrong password. Please enter your password to log in below. Oh, sorry. It's not working yet. I'm supposed to have an else block here. Okay. So I think it's still in order. Yeah, still in order. Sorry about that. So I failed the first time. I entered the wrong password the second time. You have entered the wrong password. Please enter your password to log in. So I entered it the third time. You have entered the wrong password. Please enter your password to log in. Let me enter it again. You have entered the wrong password. So now here, you have entered the wrong password. Do you want to use a hint? If I say yes, it offers a hint. How old are you? So assume I can't remember the age I have set, and I enter 19. It tells me you are within 1 year of the correct value. Please enter your password to log in below. And same is repeated until I am successfully logged into my system, or until I exceed the number of attempts that I'm allowed to. So thank you for participating in today's class. I'm going to entertain one question because I've overshoot the time, the scheduled time to end the meeting. So I'm entertaining one question, please. Okay. In the absence of any question, we have come to the end of today's session. Thank you very much for tuning in and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
I want to leave this meeting now.